Hi again, everyone. Mr. Honig here, and we are going to work on order of operations today. Today, what we want to focus on is the whole structure of the problem and make sure that we are following our basic operational rules. Okay? You may remember order of operations in this form. A lot of you use the anagram, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay? And that is true to a point, but that only implies, the big thing here is it only implies that parentheses are a grouping symbol. Okay, so we actually have these 6 operations that we follow, but in reality, it's a set of 4 steps. So what we talk about here is I actually write it as this, and I'll go through each set and each step individually. Okay, so the G here is something you may not have seen before, but what that actually stands for, this is step number 1. This is to take care of all types of grouping symbols. Okay? A grouping symbol is a parenthesis. That's one example of a grouping symbol. You also would see this with braces and brackets. Okay? These are all different types of grouping symbols. The last type of grouping symbol you may see, and this will probably be when you get a little bit further in algebra, would be something underneath a radical. Okay, taking a square root. So we always want to take care of any of our grouping symbols first, and we always want to move from inside to out. Okay? Our second step is taking care of our exponents. So that's step number 2. Okay? Anytime we have exponents, remember what we're talking about here? When we're squaring a number, like let's say we take 3 squared, that's not 3 times 2. That actually equates to 3 times 3. We're multiplying the number by itself, the number of times we see this exponent. So I'm multiplying 3 by itself twice. That's actually 9. Okay? Same thing if I had 4 squared. That would be 4 times 4, which actually becomes 16, so on and so forth. Now, if you see up top here, I grouped the M and D together and the A and S together. Step 3 is taking care of both multiplication and division. Now, this is an entire step because we have to think about it as moving directionally in the problem from left to right. So if I have a question where it's 3 times 2 divided by 9, the first step here would actually be to multiply prior to dividing, because from left to right, 3 times 2 comes first before divided by 9. If I switch those operations, then I would still focus on this 3 divided by 2 first. Okay? Because that is the first symbol that comes up from left to right in that multiplication division step. The same is true in step 4, addition and subtraction. Okay? So if we change those symbols up, whatever comes first, left to right, just think about it, it's how you read. That's the direction you want to solve these problems. Okay? I hope you have that down because I'm going to follow that process and structure today. So I'm going to go through my whole gamut and I'm going to work and make each step here smaller. So I'm going and looking through and I'm asking, do I have any grouping symbols in this expression? I don't. So then I start thinking to myself, do I have any exponents? And I do. I have this 3 squared. So that's where my focus goes. And then I just rewrite the 42 divided by 6. I also rewrite the multiplication there, and I only focus on 3 squared. 3 times 3 is 9. I continue. Do I have any more exponents? There are no more exponents in this line, which means now I look to multiply or divide. This, I'm looking from left to right. So as I read from left to right, I have 2 symbols here, but the first one is 42 divided by 6. So that's what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to drop down and multiply by 9 because I'm not going to change that yet. 42 divided by 6 is 7. And now I ask myself again, do I have multiplication division? I do. 7 times 9 is 63. When you get it down to one term or one number, that tells you you are done. So final solution is 63. Over here, now we have some grouping symbols. So as I said earlier, we want to work from the inside out. So not only do I see the grouping symbols here with the braces, I also have parentheses. I need to simplify these parentheses first. So this is my focus. Everything else, I'm just going to reproduce. So I'm going to drop down to -4. I'm going to drop down the brace here. 5 minus 3. I am going to compute that. That becomes 2. When you get a single term here, you may get rid of your grouping symbol. 2, and then that's raised to the second power, minus, here I have -3 plus 1. So now we're testing those integer skills. Different signs I subtract, meaning 3 minus 1 is 2, and it becomes a -2 because I keep that sign in my higher number. I will have to put that in a parenthesis because of this double sign right here. And that is raised to the second power. Close my bracket, and then add 3 on the end. I still have work to do inside these grouping symbols. So now I ask, do I have another set of grouping symbols? This does not count right here because it's only one term within the grouping symbol. Okay? So now I go to my next step, which is exponents. My exponents in here, I'm focused on 2 squared. I'm also focused on -2 squared. I'm not going to worry about this double negative yet because I have to still focus on my order of operations. I'm going to drop down my brace. 2 times itself is 4 minus -2 squared. Think about this. A negative times a negative will equal a positive. We have a 4 minus 4 there, and then plus 3. I continue. I still have things inside my grouping symbols, so this is my focus. 4 minus 4. Everything else I'm just going to drop down. So I have -4 times. We understand that this is multiplication here. 4 minus 4 actually is 0, and then plus 3. -4 times 0, that's my next step. I'm in multiplication division. -4 times 0, that actually becomes 0 plus 3, and now I only have addition and subtraction left. 0 plus 3 is 3.